What's going on, guys? It's your girl Angie Snatch coming at you with another episode of An Unbiased Truth. And this week is going to be quite the eventful week for the conscious community black sector. Before I get started, welcome to all my new subscribers. Welcome back to the Snatch Gang. 2,000 subscribers. I am so humbled by that because it means that you enjoy my perspective, you enjoy my research and what I'm doing, and I appreciate that. So, this week, three conscious leaders will all be facing court dates. Now, you can't help but think, is this irony? Is this coincidence? Is this esoterical? But three conscious leaders will be facing court hearings this week. We have young Pharaoh, the leader of At Nation, Grandmaster J, the leader of NFAC, and Brother Polight, the leader of New Covenant. I'm going to start with young Pharaoh. As we know, young Pharaoh is facing 7 charges in Harris County. Tomorrow, 11:30, November 30th, he will be facing a portion of those charges. He has a hearing for those threats. He will also be going back to court the very next day to face the rest of the charges, all in the same case. Now, this is the same day that Grandmaster J will be going to court as well. I actually have been working on something else regarding young Pharaoh, so stay tuned for that. I saw a lot of people discussing whether he scammed people about this YouTube case. From what I see so far, it looks like he didn't scam people. He did file a case against YouTube. What happened was that case was then dismissed. He filed an appeal in the case. That appeal case is still going on December 6th, I believe, or maybe the 22nd. Don't quote me. I'm going to do a full breakdown on it. He has to give another brief to the appeals court, and then in January, YouTube has to respond. But we're going to look further into that. I just wanted to side note you on what I'm working on and what I want to do. All right, let's go into who's next. We have Grandmaster J. Now, Grandmaster J, as you know, he's facing 5 charges of wanton endangerment. That is in Jefferson County, Louisville, Kentucky, stemming from the Breonna Taylor rallies. It is accused that he pointed in the air, threatening law enforcement officers. Now, his court date is set for December 1st as well. I will be streaming this hearing. This is his pretrial conference. It's December 1st at 10:45 a.m. The last but absolutely not least is Brother Polight. As you know, I have had my foot on Polight's neck, breaking down every piece of his case and anyone involved in him with him, down to the crypto roots story. I've broken down everything about Polight as it pertains to this case. But one thing that interests me, if you saw my episodes 16 and 17 and maybe even episode 18, I went over the evidence list, the witness list, as well as the demand for alibi. Now, in that document, the prosecution gave Brother Polight up to 10 days. They gave him up to 10 days prior to his hearing to respond to that alibi. As of yet, Brother Polight has not responded with an alibi at all. He did not give an affirmative defense, which would have been, this may have happened to this young woman. However, I had nothing to do with it. I know nothing about it, etc. None of that has happened. He hasn't filed anything pertaining to that at all. He has a court hearing, as we know, December 3rd. That will be in Miami-Dade court. I will be streaming that as well. It was one thing that was very interesting to me with the Brother Polight case, and what I'm looking for on December 3rd with Brother Polight, I think he's going to plead out. Because the type of hearing that he has, it is a report hearing. I don't know if it may be cut off here, but the type of hearing is a reporting hearing. What happens at a reporting hearing is usually uneventful. The judge asks both the prosecution and the defense what their calendar is looking like. They set trial dates, but in this instance, they can also set a plea deal date. What I found interesting was that the prosecution hasn't motioned the court because they haven't complied with that demand for alibi. I think that there are conversations going on between Polight and the prosecutor, between Polight's counsel, David Torres, and the prosecutor discussing some type of plea deal. Because one thing we know is Brother Polight has not produced an alibi in the 9 months. This incident happened 9 months ago. He has yet to produce an alibi. Another thing that I found interesting, that I think that this person watches the case as much as I do, and that is YK the Truth. If you aren't familiar with YK the Truth, I became familiar with him in my comment section, honestly, because he is such a staunch Brother Polight supporter, especially when it came to this case. He had thrown out a lot of what if scenarios that landed him in hot water. What I did appreciate about him was that he stood his ground. That was how he felt. No matter how implausible it seemed to the masses, this was how he felt. Now, this is what he posted yesterday. What's good, people? I'm taking down all of my Brother Polight videos. It's not because I'm trying to hide those videos, but because I don't want that type of energy to my channel anymore. I have other topics I would like to address that uplifts our people. I will apologize to the world if he is guilty of those charges. Peace. Now, that said a lot to me, because if you go to YK the Truth's channel, he hadn't been discussing Polight nor his case in recent times. He hadn't discussed the case in quite maybe since I released the what the prosecution does not have, and he did that little video involving Sweet Ma and her panel, kind of out of context. Since then, he hadn't posted much. So for him to want to delete the videos, it's one thing not to discuss it anymore, but now to want to delete the videos, I think he sees what I see, that a plea deal for Brother Polight is coming down the pipeline, because all YK the Truth needed was just a thread of innocence, a thread of an alibi for Polight, and he would have continued, in my opinion, to advocate. Now, one thing I can say about this situation as a whole, that's why I said, is it ironic, coincidental, or esoterical? Because this is nothing to smile about, in my opinion. Because one thing that I have observed is when we create these conscious leaders, there's never a bench of leaders created to take their place. It's just someone comes out of the woodwork and then they become a leader. But there's no organization or no mass effort of organization. Okay, your strong suit is finance, your strong suit is health, your strong suit is science, your strong suit is family matters and domestic relations, and really putting together this organization. We all have something to bring to the table. So when three leaders fall due to their own actions, I may say, because I'm not in court, uh, any of you out there, you may not be in court right now. These are the actions of just them as individuals, but it affects a collective that they were representing. So I think that we should think a little further on how we as a collective can come together, train a, a whole slew of people that can be leaders. Individually, we are strong, but collectively, we are powerful. And I think that we really need to focus on that. I'll be following all of these cases. Like I said, Young Pharaoh, November 30th and December 1st. Grandmaster J, December 1st. And Brother Polight on December 3rd. I will be streaming Brother Polight's case and Grandmaster J's case live. check out my community section. I'm going to put um, a show schedule, if you will, for what you can expect to come from Snatch Investigations in the channel this week. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later. It's your girl, Angie Snatch.